out here at Romare Bearden Park, hanging out with
John Bates.
John Bates, otherwise known as
Cheeks McGee.
Which I love. You got to tell me where that comes from.
It's just like my street art alias. So sometimes when I'm out catching tags, I just decide to put that little moniker up, and that's how some of my friends know me by best.
Okay, but I got to know, where did it come from?
Oh, I'm always smiling, so they just call me Cheeks.
Perfect. Well, something that is also keeping people smiling, your egg back here. The banana egg. It's got to be a famous mark of the eggs that are out here. It was definitely one of my favorites. I had to touch it. I think a lot of people are feeling that way.
Nice.
What made you come up with a banana egg?
So I was actually a little bit torn when we were first reviewing the proposal, and it was like the Fabergé eggs, and I feel like they wanted something that was a little bit prettier. So I was in my sketchbook and I was trying to just come up with things that kind of felt like visually like beautiful.
Yeah.
And I just kind of also tend to lean towards a little bit more of like an unorthodox presentation of art. So
yeah.
Ultimately I ended up going with this kind of like felted medium, and then the banana split was just the icon that just stuck with me the most when coming up with my design process.
The banana split. Now it is 3D. A lot of these eggs people are touching them, but yours actually has like a soft feel to it.
Definitely.
How long did it take you?
It was quite a process. So this is like felting. It's done with sheep's wool, and so the process is by layering it and kind of making like hundreds of little knots, it begins to make like a sheet or a mat, which is how I did the like initial top skin of the banana. So it has a lot of the extra textures built into it, and like kind of the hairs, when you peel back the banana, it has that natural texture. So that's what I was aiming for, and luckily that medium just kind of lends to it perfectly. Yes.
Okay, so overall, how many hours did it take you?
Let's see.
Do we have a running ticker?
No running ticker. A rough estimate, I'd say probably 20 to 25 hours on it. And we did do a few shortcuts by going with larger sheets of, like you see the large yellow in it, and even doing the green at the bottom by applying like aerosols to it, rather than needle felting the entire thing. I think it would have been a little bit more of a even more time-consuming process. I bit off quite a lot.
When Shout, did you reach out to Shout, or did they reach out to you?
So they put the open call proposal, and so my partner Katrina Stanfield, she does fiber arts, and she's like huge in the Charlotte fine art scene right now,
Great.
Contemporary arts as well. And so she's been kind of like pushing me. I do a lot of commercial art, and to get into a little bit more of like public art. And so when she saw these applications come up, we both applied, and luckily we both were accepted by it. And so this was my entry, and then hers is just a couple legs down.
So when did you tell her about your...
She was actually one of my like deciding figures, because I was so torn. I probably had 5 different sketches of things that I liked but didn't feel quite as passionate about, and then I felt that maybe the approval committee might see this as the least Fabergé of them all, because I figured, you know, that maybe people would be applying paints to them and having like a nice fine finish, where I knew this would kind of have a little more of a cartoony aesthetic to it. I had like some where it was going to, so I do a lot of spray painting,
Okay.
so I was thinking, of course, applying like maybe a street art graffiti finish. I have like my street art icon, so I was like, I could easily do it, you know, like I kind of came through and like graffitied it up all night. That would have been like a really fun alternative for me. And then I do a lot of like fine art as well, so I was thinking of making a pretty realistic Fabergé egg, but all in paints, and just trying to capture those really nice golds, some of those really cool sheens of like the stones that they embed into them. But ultimately, I just had to have a little more fun.
Is this your first time visiting it, seeing people interact with it?
Yes, this is actually, and I've probably, since the past few minutes I've been waiting here, I saw easily 10 to 15 families like come up, pose by it, and even the parents were saying to the kids, what is that? And they could easily just identify it as a banana, so that was a little bit reassuring that the finish came through so well.
What kind of feeling does that give you to see people enjoying your art?
Super pleasure. I kind of want to like start jumping in and asking if I can start taking some pictures with them, but you know, they're having such like a genuine moment. I'm letting them and taking in.
How did you pursue art? How did you get to where you are today?
Quite a long process.
Just like the banana.
Just like the banana, exactly. Grade school, taking tons of, you know, fine art classes, just my teachers just being a genuine help and seeing that I had like a genuine interest in it. And so when I would complete projects, they would give me, you know, useful critiques and like helpful feedback, and to continue to like build me up to, you know, being a better artist ultimately. So I did, you know, grade school, started doing classes at CPCC for a fine art associate's degree. Ultimately didn't accomplish it because I actually ended up getting looped in with like a local kind of street art group, and they kind of helped me see more of the logistical side of art, where in school we were taught, you know, how to use the paints and how to, you know, present a painting, but they were able to teach me things like writing contracts, invoicing, and, you know, like communicating better and like working with clients in a more common platform. So that's been able to allow me to do like a full-time career out of just creating and making my art.
So you are a full-time artist.
Correct.
What is your favorite thing to create?
I do a lot of spray painting. It's like I think probably my most common medium of use right now, but I really do love like the digital stuff. So like doing 3D modeling, like VFX in movies was like a huge inspiration in like the things that I like to create. So I'm always playing around with like 3D modeling programs, 3D printing, making accessories and maybe stuff like that, toys and trinkets.
When you saw the rest of the eggs, what did you think?
Oh, what an excellent presentation. Some people are just like really like in depth with like their details. So there's a lot of details embedded into a lot of these eggs. So it's really cool to kind of sit there, analyze them. And you don't get to take it all in with that first view. You kind of have to keep rotating to get to see some of the other stuff that they have hidden as well. Or maybe not hidden, just not on display. But yeah, that's been very interesting to see a lot of the details that people were able to incorporate.
Well, we've got beautiful weather out here. How can people follow along, not just with your banana egg, but with you on social media?
Yeah. So my social media is Cheeks with a period and then CLT, love to rep my town. So you guys can catch me out there. And then just going to be doing more public art installations. I actually have a second installation for Charlotte Shout going up.
Where is that going to be at?
So I'm working with Sydney Duarte, and we're going to be over in Victoria Yards. So across from 7th Street Market, and they have like a boatload, I'll say a boatload of shipping containers. It looks like quite an installation. There's probably 10 to 15 containers out there, and so they've assigned some sections to a handful of different artists, and luckily I got a nice tall spot. I got one that's 2 containers stacked up, so I'll be able to really stretch my wings.
Spray painting.
Correct, yeah, that would be
almost
love. All aerosol, yeah, big time.
Oh, very cool. Are you from Charlotte?
Yeah, well, born and raised in Miami, but I've been in Charlotte for over 20 years now, so I do consider myself a local.
All right, well, we consider you a local, and we're happy to have you as part of Charlotte Shout. Make sure you come and see the banana egg here at Romare Bearden Park, and then you can also catch them at Victoria Yards. When is that?
So it's going to be 2 weekends. We're going to do this upcoming weekend, I think the 7th and 8th, and then the following weekend, we'll have to follow up with the dates. They'll have them off the top of my head.
Thank you, Cheeks.
Of course.
Back to you guys.
See ya.